Good afternoon and welcome to the October 20th meeting of the Columbia Rotary Club. Great to see everybody today. Out of respect for our speakers, will please silence your cell phones. I'm going to ask Al to come up and do our invocation.
Well, it's a big day. Welcome, everybody. Let's pray together. I want to pray in my faith. You pray in yours. And we'll ask God to bless our time together. Heavenly Father, we are grateful for this new venue. Thank you for the staff here. We appreciate what the Seals have done for us over so many years, but times change, and it's time for a change. And so we pray over this facility right now that these Mondays at 12:30 will be times of connection, of service, of getting to know each other, fellowship. Lord, that we might together be able to continue to grow Rotary. Maybe since COVID has been a little different, a little bit difficult to do, but Lord, I pray that this crowd here and the people that are coming and the people that are working hard on this board, that have found this venue for us, Lord, we just pray that they would continue to lead us effectively towards a good result. We thank you now for this food. Thank you for the hands that have prepared it. And we pray now in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you, Al. Now we're going to do the national anthem. Brad. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Now, William is going to come up and introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests. William, I'm going to bring you the microphone. Yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Dupree's wonderful location. First of all, before we do our guests, let's give a big round of applause for our incredible staff who made this transition go so smoothly. I think the executive team and everyone just made such a great effort. So we have a lot of guests here today. I know Lee Lumpkin has quite a few guests. So Lee, if you'll stand up and introduce your guests for us.
I'm so happy to be here, and I want to first introduce my wonderful guests. I'm going to start with Councilwoman Oddity Bustles, who's our wonderful Councilwoman at large and also a candidate. Please stand. Oddity. Next, I'm so excited to have Meredith Rose and Spencer Green. They are from Trinity Partners. They are in real estate, commercial real estate brokerage. And thank you so much for being here.
Any other guests to announce? Yes?
Hi everybody, Graham Davidson with Brown Griffin Insurance. I have 4 guests. First, Alan, if you'll stand. This is Alan, and he is with Alan Recycling. Then we have an owner who isn't really a guest much anymore, but he is with the School of Music at USC. And then Denise with the American Red Cross. And then Diana, sorry, I haven't even gotten to meet you. But please, if you'd like to enter.
I'm Diane Ireland. What's my voice? I'm Diane Ireland. I'm in Lexington. It hates me. And I just wanted to check out Rotary. I've always heard wonderful things and wanted to come and follow you today. Hi, everybody. Louisa Campbell. Oh, doesn't like it either. Gracious. I'm glad to be back. It's you guys. But I have as my guest today my wonderful husband, Bill Campbell. I just wanted to check out our new place. So I'm with you all.
Hi, y'all. Ian Walker, and I'm glad to have as my guest Damien Sally. Damien is the new executive director of Palmetto Place, which was actually started by the Junior Women's Club many, many years ago. We used to have, anybody here remember Red Stockings Review? Anybody at all? Well, the Junior Women's, I was actually in it, believe it or not. We actually did that years ago as part of a fundraiser for Palmetto Place, but I just want you to have me welcome Damien Sally.
So welcome everyone, and make the week a great day, and I'm so happy you could be here and join us today here at Rotary.
Thank you, William. So, we've got a couple of things I wanted to just say since this is our first time with the priest. First of all, we'll do a public thank you to Capcom, Julia, who's right here, Della is out there, Annie, Mercy's here today too. They got us covered. So these ladies have done a tremendous amount of work, and I think they deserve a round of applause. Thanks again. Also want to thank Anna, Robert, or Bob, and Dupree, who is the priest catering and 300 Cents in. They've been great to work with, and this screen's brand new. They bought it for us. Flags, some of the flags, with South Carolina flags new too. So they've been great to work with. I know there are a few kinks we'll work out today. Like there's one microphone. We'll have two next time, so we're in good shape there. But they've done a great job. Also want to thank the committee, Graham, if you'll stand up. Graham has done a great job. She's led the team. Jonathan started out, he's been involved too, and has been a big help as well. Let's see, Laura, Phil, William, Gracie, Kelly Augustine. I'm probably forgetting somebody, so if I am, I apologize, but these folks have put a lot of time into this, and I think the results are great. I think the place is wonderful. So real excited about it. And I also want to thank you for your support of me and the board. I know this move has not been easy, and it's changed. Nobody likes change, but I think you're going to like the results in the end. So thank you for your patience and kind words. Next, I'm going to ask Laura to come up, and she's going to talk for just a minute about club assembly that we're going to do next week.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Laura McKinney. I'm your president-elect. We have a very long succession planning here in the club, so part of my role in preparing for presidency next year, and starting in July, is I'm in charge of speakers and programs. So I wanted to give a preview. We haven't done this in a while, I don't think, but we're going to have a club assembly next Monday. So club assembly is a business meeting for our Rotary Club. Now, this doesn't mean you don't have to come. And it doesn't mean it's going to be boring. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to talk about just more of the goings-on of how the club works. We're going to talk our committee chairs. If you're in here and this is a surprise, don't worry, I got you covered. But we are going to talk about our committees next week, the ones that we have now, some ideas for some additional committees and activities that we might want to pursue. And then we'll have a little university-style club meeting, and each of the committees will be seated at a table, and you'll be able to go and talk to the committee chair and see if it's a committee you'd like to join. A lot of work happens, as you all know, outside of the meetings here on Mondays, and so we just want to make sure everybody's aware of opportunities to plug in and be involved.
Thank you, Laura. And Laura has done most of this on her own, so she's doing a great job as your next president. So, do you want us to call you El Presidente, or what's
I like President Junior.
President Junior? Okay, all right. Okay, great. So next, I'm going to invite Pat Waller to come up. Pat's our assistant area governor, and he's going to say a few words.
I'd rather have it. Don't leave. I bring greetings from your district governor, Sandy Morkel. Sandy is still busy visiting clubs. She hopes to have them all done by Thanksgiving, so she still has a few more. Your club was a fantastic club last year. Is your past president here?
Yes, Jonathan.
Jonathan, would you come up, please? This is a result of Jonathan's year. So, on behalf of the foundation, we present you with the banners that you earned for foundation last year. You're one of only 1,520 clubs to achieve the top 3 high with the per capita annual giving honors. Also, one of the 4,000 that received the every rotation every year club. So there are your banners, and great job, great job. David, I guess you were looking for this?
Yeah.
This is your district grant check, so that you can have your program. I just got those last week, so.
I gave that to Graham, because Graham's done all the work in getting the district grant application in and following up, and so, anyway, so that's good. Thank you again, Pat. Now, health and happiness, Al, if we can get you to come up, please.
All right, tired of me already. Gracie was scheduled to do health and happiness today, but pump went out last night, and that usually means a bad day the next day. So if y'all think about her, say a little prayer for her sometime, would be helpful. So health and happiness, William reminded me about Ballet with a Bite this weekend. He assures me that the gala on Saturday night will be after the Alabama game. Those of you that leave early, you got plenty of time to get to the ballet.
Why do they leave early?
Well, I don't know. It's because they're blowing them out so much, probably, and they just, But we're Gamecocks. I've been doing. I'm 66 years old. I can remember being 2 years old and being a Gamecock for a long time. My dad had a liquor bottle. Evan Williams, I think, or some old granddad maybe, that looked like a Gamecock. I still have it at the house. But as I recall, except for a few really good years in there, this is like, what's so new about this? This is just what we do. This just keeps us humble, keeps reminding us that it's not that big a deal. It keeps us going to games so that all of these people can spend all this money and make us wait 3 minutes every 5 minutes for them to start playing football again. So, I love college football these days. It's very, very organized, and everybody seems to know what they're doing. And if you believe that, that's a land for you. So anyway, we do not have today the card message specifically on health and happiness because our El Presidente, or President Senior, is going to do Happy Dollars for happiness part of this. And so I think that Frank may end up giving us a little bit of an update on his end when he gives his $1,000 check to it, when he puts it in there. So anyway, so that's it. Dave's going to take it from here.
Thank you, Hal. So we haven't done this in a little while. I don't see Glenn, but I think we did it when Glenn was president. And we've been running a little bit behind on our cart fund. So I thought we would start doing this again, probably not every week, but maybe once a month or every other week or something like that. So if you've got something that you're happy about or positive about, or just want to come up and say something, please come up and put some money in the bucket, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I'll get us started. My daughter Catherine is going to be in the Clemson homecoming pageant tomorrow night, representing her Clemson ROTC program. So I'll put some dollars in for her.
Thank you, Laura. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Just wait.
Well, I'm so happy to have a table full of wonderful guests that put themselves out there and want to come know us and want to work with the city. And sometimes they just put it, to me, they put themselves out there and there's not a lot of return, but I appreciate them so much.
Thank you, Lee.
Just moved my daughter back from Raleigh to our basement. So that may be the last $5 I have.
So I don't know why they're applauding. My daughter just moved back too, so. Good time. Oh, good, okay. I'm telling her to come. Where is it, Laura?
Tomorrow, 10 to 3 at the convention center.
10 to 3 at the convention center, okay. All right, Hannah.
Okay, I just want to let you know, I'm very happy we had Madeline's son in Charlotte on Friday night. And I don't have all the numbers, but I know we did 75,000 in the live auction. We did 225,000 in the fund admission. Looks like we might hit over 600,000. And just so you'll know, Jimmy Rogers, who works with Granger Owens, who teams up with us for the fashion show that we do here, his grandson was born in Charlotte, and he has had, his name is Hampton. We need to pray for Hampton. He's had open heart surgery. He has been on an ECMO machine. He is now off of the machine. He seems to be, they took his tube out. He seems to be going to make it. That's Hampton Rogers. Jimmy Rogers is his grandson. So we're happy about Madeline's son. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. That's awesome news. Congratulations. It's wonderful. Marianne.
I don't need nothing any lunch. I'm putting in for several things. First of all, I'm glad to have my kids staying in town with my other place. And I'm a strange person. I went to, y'all already knew that, but I went to Lander undergrad, but I started my master's at Clemson and finished it at Carolina. So I'm one of those few people that yells for both teams. And when they're playing each other, that's another discussion. But anyway, so I'm sorry that they both lost because I wanted both to win. But anyway, better luck next week.
Thank you, Ann.
My name is Dan, and I'm happy because my daughter got married last week, and now she is going to be a successful pediatrician in Jacksonville, Florida, and most of all, she's off the payroll.
Thanks, Dan. So I've got the bucket. I gotta set it down. So I'm thankful for all of y'all. I'm thankful that we have made this transition and that it's basically almost over, because I was really nervous starting the day. And I'm happy because I've gotten to go to Myrtle Beach the last 2 weekends thanks to a friend that's here. And then also for our golf outing. I came back from last night, so if you see me shaking, you know why. Anybody else?
I'm always happy to give a message representing what's going on with our lives, living with Alzheimer's. And fortunately, many of you already know, because I've talked to this group any number of times, we've had a rather unusual situation with Alzheimer's. In fact, I'm a blogger and been writing about this since her diagnosis almost 15 years ago. And I'm now working on turning that into a book. And the title of that book, at least in my mind right now, is Living Joyfully with Alzheimer's. And it's a perspective you don't often hear. But we have lived joyfully from the beginning. I won't take you through all that's happened, but it's been wonderful. But for, well, almost 5 years, in fact, in November, it will be 5 years that she's been in the last state of Alzheimer's. She's well beyond any of the expectations for her survival, so I'm grateful that she is just here. But it's much, much more than just being here. She remains the greatest source of joy in my life. She is really a jewel, and even this very morning, before this meeting, she generally sleeps late, but she was awake just before 8 o'clock. And she made a noise, which she doesn't usually do, so I walked into the city, and she was smiling. And that in itself is unusual, because the mornings are the toughest part for her, because she wakes up not really sure where she is, who she is, who I am, and it takes almost till late in the afternoon before she really begins to have enough stimulation that she feels better, even if she doesn't talk, all those things. But this morning, she just seemed really cheerful and recognized me. And I did what I often do, I jumped in bed with her. And when that happens, we usually have a conversation. And for the next hour and a half, she and I talked and sang and had the most joyous morning that you can imagine. And to even think that you can have that at this point in Alzheimer's. But she is still, in fact, she's always been good-natured. She's still very good-natured. She thanks the caregivers frequently. She thanks me. It's funny, she rarely says, I love you, but she conveys that in other ways. She often will take my hand and pull it up to her lips. And she smiles, and her smiles tell me a lot. And everyone knows and still knows, we're out every day, and people pass us when we're at our ice cream. They'll stop, and she smiles, and they go on talking, and have a group talking. We think, well, she's not paying attention. And then we'll discover something funny happens, and she'll just be laughing with the crowd. She understands a considerable amount of what we say. She cannot speak, however, properly. She speaks in gibberish, although she does say a few words. But I tell you these things not just because it's Happy Dollar and I make a contribution a little bit less than $1,000. But I have learned some things over the course of this time, and I really do believe that almost anybody could benefit from some of the things that we've experienced. And that is, we started out saying, we really, for probably 2 months or so, what do we do now that we've got this in our faces? And we made a decision that worked then, and it works today. We simply decided we're going to go ahead and enjoy life and each other for as long as we have. We don't know whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 4 years. We never imagined we'd be in the 15th year. And by the way, it's 18 to 20 years since we saw the first signs. It's been a long, long time. But here we are, and we're still living joyfully. To speak more specifically, she is not smiling all day long. That doesn't occur. She's mostly neutral. The smiles generally come later. That's why it's so nice to see them in the morning. They're rare. But our world was this big when we started. started. We went out, we went to movies, we traveled, we ate out, we did everything. We binged on life to enjoy ourselves. Today, our big events of the day are going out for ice cream at 3:30 and go to dinner at 4:30. And we get back to put her in bed at 6:30, and I'm with her until we turn out the lights at 8:30. But within that smaller world, we live joyfully, and we're grateful for every moment we have.
Thank you, Frank. Frank's a shining light at Still Hope. My mother-in-law was there until just recently when she passed away, and he has done it does a great job. So thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. That's a tough act to follow. I'm grateful to the Lord for letting me live long enough that I now have 4 great grandchildren. You gotta understand, my wife and I were born and raised in Tennessee, and I was 14 and she was 12.
Frank, my parents are from Tennessee, and that is so true.
I'm grateful for Frank Brown. He has put a joyful face on Alzheimer's, which I've had 2 parents struggle with it, and it's not much fun. In most cases, it isn't joyful. But he, because he's such a unique, special, loving person, has made his situation joyful. And Frank, you make our lives better here too. Thank you.
I too am grateful for Frank Brown and for the 41 years that I have worked for Frank Brown. That's a lot of my life. I'm also very grateful for my 2 beautiful grandsons, one who will be 2 years old on Saturday and one who will be 11 weeks old tomorrow.
Thank you. If we have anybody else, that's it for happy hours. I had to come back over here and look at my notes. So, next, I'm gonna ask, Rebecca Jordan to come up here and introduce our speaker, Dr. Sabo-Attwood.
Well, good afternoon. It's so great to be back. I haven't been to Rotary in quite a while. In my previous job, I had some conflicts with my schedule. So for all the years that I've been a Rotarian, I was with the American Red Cross for 10 years as the executive director. I'm so glad to see Denise Teasdale here. Raise your hand again, Denise. That has taken my former position at the Red Cross, because I was fortunate enough to get a phone call that said, I know you've been with the Red Cross for a while, but we've got an opportunity over at University of South Carolina that I think you might be interested in. And I'm a diehard Gamecock, even with the painful weekends that we're having right now, and I'm a graduate. So I said, sure, I'd love to talk to you about this opportunity, and it was for a position with the Arnold School of Public Health, which is where I completed my master's degree, and I'm not going to say what year, because I too was like 12 years old when I finished my master's. And then when I got the opportunity to meet the dean, I knew that I was indeed home, and we were going to do some great things. So I'm really excited that she is able to be here today to share her vision of the Arnold School of Public Health. We are celebrating 50 years of existence, and we're super excited. If you are at the game this weekend, we will be at Cockaboose 14, so stop by and say hello prior to the game, and we'd love to see you. But I'd like to go ahead and introduce Dr. Tara Sabo-Attwood.
Stand a little bit closer. Okay. And now without glasses, I'm gonna have to work 2 things, and this is gonna be interesting, but, I'm so glad to be here today. So thank you for the invitation to come speak to you about the Arnold School. So I serve as the dean. I've been in that role for just over a year. So a little new still to me. I love my job. I get up every day and I really look forward to going to work. So to me, that's the dream, right? But it's not my first foray with the Arnold School. I was actually here in 2006. It was my first faculty job. I was a wide-eyed new assistant professor and had a great transformative experience with the school. Went elsewhere, University of Florida for 15 years, but really got engaged in leadership and then came back as the dean. One of the things that drew me back to the Arnold School was the people and the culture. It's got some kind of juju magic where everybody likes each other, gets along, and so it's a great place to work. I think that extends to the University of South Carolina and to the communities in Columbia as well. So it's just a joy to be back. Just to give you a little bit more information about me, so I am an environmental toxicologist by training. So I do research trying to understand the effects of environmental pollution on the health of people and communities. I still do a little bit of research as a dean, but my bandwidth for that has gotten a little bit smaller, so I kind of just dabble in that area. But over the years, I've really gotten into some other areas of interest, and that is building wellness programs for communities and also women's leadership as well. I was just in South Africa, Johannesburg, a week or two ago, where I was a keynote speaker at a women's leadership summit and was actually able to give a talk during their National Heritage Week in Sydney meeting, and so amazing experience, but also allowed us to sign an MOU with the University of Johannesburg. So I won't talk too much about it today, but a lot of the work we do extends beyond state to South Carolina and where we have global impact. So as Rebecca said, it is our 50th anniversary this year. So it's a really big year for our school. We've been celebrating all year. My own personal celebration was to hike 50 miles of the Appalachian Trail, so a mile for each year of the Arnold School, and I completed that task about 6 weeks ago. So that was me at the very end as proof that I actually completed it. Okay, so what I thought I would do today, since I don't know you all very well, and I hope this is just the beginning of conversations, so just give you an overview of our school. We are a large unit. I'll share some numbers with you about that in just a minute. But the Arnold School of Public Health, what do we do? What do we stand for? This is really our mission. We're really focused on improving population health and well-being. So our goal is to evaluate and help improve health of communities. So, where medicine tends to be more like patient or single person centric, public health really expands out into the community space. We do that by fostering innovative education, research, and practice that promotes health and healthy environments. And prevention is really key to what we do. So trying to understand health, but then coming up with ways to get in front of those adverse health outcomes to try to prevent them. And so we do that through a lot of different ways. Some of those I'll share with you today. And so if you kind of put all that together, it's almost like looking at communities as systems, right? So say we find high levels of agricultural runoff or bacterial contamination in wells out in rural communities. What we can do is we can provide the water testing, so we can go and sample and see where that contamination is, who might be impacted in communities, but then we can also start integrating health assessments. So why is that a problem? It's a problem because maybe children are getting sick, right? So we're putting those two things together. And then what can we do to try to prevent people from getting sick? We might put water filters on their wells. We might roll out education programs so people are more informed about how they might use water in those areas. And of course, the long-term goals, which usually take some time or to influence policy and guidelines about how to keep people safe. So that's kind of what we do broadly, which is a lot. So the school really is comprised of 6 major departments. And you can see that they're very diverse. So epidemiology and biostatistics, so these are people that use a lot of numbers to study large populations. Environmental health, so that's my area. Those of us that are looking at the health of the environment, people and communities. We have a health services policy and management, so folks work more in the policy space of public health, health promotion, education, behavior, communication science disorders, and exercise science. In addition to those sort of basic departments in school of public health, we have a number of clinical operations. So we have physical therapy, we have athletic training, we have a clinical nutrition program, and we also have the Montgomery Speech, Language, and Hearing Clinic. So all of that really is under our umbrella. Our undergraduate services, so that's our undergraduate students, to which we have 3,000 of them that are either getting undergraduate educational degrees in public health or exercise science. And then we have a whole bunch of centers. They're not even all named here. There's more than a dozen of them. And a lot of our centers is really where we get a lot of our outreach to our communities, both near and far. For example, we have a prevention research center, and part of the focus of that group is working with churches, so people in churches, to try to reach communities about better nutrition. Okay. We have a rural health center, Healthy Kids, which is focused on nutrition as well. And then we have the Center for Community Health Alignment, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, which provides a lot of training to community members. And so one of the areas that I'll touch on in a little bit is associated with Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's-like diseases, where we're training a lot of folks in the communities. This is us by the numbers, just to sort of share with you our scope and size. We have 31 degree programs, 400 faculty and staff, 3,800 students, 18,000 alumni. Any alumni here from the Arnold School? I know there's 1 or 2. Okay. And big research portfolio, and then the training, which I think is important. So we train more than 1,300 community members annually in a couple of different spaces, which I'll touch on. One of those is training community health workers that then go out into communities that help through clinics and other spaces as well. So I don't know what you all wanted to hear about today, because we are just a big operation, but I thought I would ground how we roll out research, practice, and education kind of under one of our umbrellas that we've been working at, is our Office for the Study of Aging. This has been around for a number of years, and the focus of this is to really provide assistance and help on helping the aging population, whether that's the individuals themselves or the caregivers for the aging population. And so this center really was stood up to develop and disseminate information, educate issues. We focus a lot of our work on Alzheimer's and related dementias. I think a lot of people know in this state, really in the United States, there's a growing number of people with Alzheimer's that is expected to continue to grow, and so it's a real issue that we need to try and tackle. Underneath this umbrella for the Office for the Study of Aging, we offer a lot of different programmings, if you will. And I'm going to just talk about a couple of them, just so you get a sense for what we're doing there. One of those is the Alzheimer's Disease Registry. We have lectures and training for students. We have something called Dementia Dialogues, which I'll share with you as well. And then a new program that we're just rolling out, which is something called Social Aging. And so this is a program to confront isolation and loneliness of of people and caregivers. So let me just start by talking a little bit about our Alzheimer's disease registry. So in our Arnold School, we actually hold the state registry for Alzheimer's. And what that means is that we are able to collate all sorts of data on diagnosis, prognosis, demographic information, and pull that all together in one place. It's extremely powerful to be able to do that. And the reason that it's powerful, because then it allows us access to data easily so that we can use it in our research, educational programs, and give us the most up-to-date, accurate information that we can get on the population. And so, it might not seem like such a big deal to pull all that together, but it really is. Trying to get access from all these data sources that you probably can't read up there is really challenging. So we've been doing this since 1988. I think it got enacted into law in 1990, I believe. And it's been just a real gem for us to have access to this registry. One of the things that it helps us with is when we understand that information, we can try to develop training and educational programs that are most helpful to people. And one of the areas that we're working hard on and have been for a number of years is training that we offer free of charge to caregivers of people that have Alzheimer's and other related dementias. So if you look at the family caregivers in South Carolina, only 24,000 of them, and look at the million hours of unpaid care in 2024, it is very high. And then there's a lot of sort of challenges that come along with that to caregivers that see increased incidence of depression and other chronic diseases, although, as Frank said, maybe we need to partner with him on finding the joy, which is very powerful. So thank you, Frank, for sharing your story with us. So one of the things that we've implemented, and it's been around for a number of years now, is a program called Dementia Dialogues. So it's a program that's free of charge. You can actually go online, and it's a self-guided training program that really does a lot to help the caregivers understand different aspects of the disease and how to help with the care of those individuals. So strategies for effective communication, ways to help promote independence, address challenging behaviors, and create problem solving. There are a lot of certified folks that are involved in this program, and since the start of this program, we've trained 20,000 individuals in South Carolina. This has now been adopted in 9 other states that are now using this. So it's a very, very effective program. So that's kind of the training aspect of what we do, whether we're talking about, Alzheimer's, or we're talking about some other, health condition. These are the types of educational programs that we work on to try to better the communities and provide services to the state of South Carolina. And we also dovetail all of this with research. We are a big research operation at the University of South Carolina. And so in addition to providing educational programming sort of in tandem with that, and with data from the registry, we are able to do really innovative types of research that help us better understand the disease, better understand how to develop superior training programs. So both of those things. It's not all research just in the lab. We do research on evaluating educational programs and practice and other things as well. These are just really 2 folks that are doing a lot of research in kind of the brain health, Alzheimer's space, but things they are doing are like looking at MRI scans and things of patients that have different
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Isn't this going to be expanded on the new campus? Maybe you're going to get to that.
It is.
Isn't that a big part?
I can certainly mention that at this point. So one of the initiatives, brain health is a really big deal on the UC campus, not only just in the Arnold School. We are a big player. in that because of the work we've been doing in Alzheimer's and stroke and other things for a long time. But the university has gotten money from the state to build a new medical campus over on Bull Street and Hardin, thank you. Bull Street and Hardin, the building's out of the ground, actually, if you drive by there. So the medical school will move from the VA, which is where it is now, over to that campus. What will also be on that campus, which we are very excited about, is a acute care neurological hospital that's been so focused on brain health, and then also a rehabilitation hospital. I think they're like 50 beds each, but don't quote me, the number kind of changes. But so that's all happening, and that should all be up and built in, I think, the next 3 years, give or take. That's exciting because that is the beginnings of creating a health science centered campus. A lot of institutions have these, and it really allows for integration of research, clinical medicine, provides excellent training grounds for students, and it's going to bring new expertise to the city of Columbia and the surrounding areas. We don't currently offer that type of neurological expertise, I'm told, and so we're going to be expanding in that space. This hospital will be owned and managed by the University of South Carolina, so that is something that's very new and different, although it will partner with a lot of the medical establishments that are around in Columbia, so it's not to be exclusive, but to add another layer that has a specialty in this brain health network. Our involvement is on the research side, so we also have some very large superpowered magnets that allow us to do very high-end brain scans, so to really try to understand what's happening in a person that is sick, because that will allow us to understand how to better develop treatments for that. So a lot of that work going on. The other space where we are really going to be integrated in that new health science campus is with our physical therapy, rehab sciences. So we have physical therapy, which has been around for quite some time. So they will be integrated over there to provide both services and as an educational platform for our physical therapy students, because now they will get certified in this specialized neurology track. And then I think I can say this now, but we're really looking to expand into occupational therapy as well. So rehab sciences, if you will, collectively will be a big deal over on that campus. Yeah. Any questions about that initiative since we're on it? Okay, and a little bit more about our clinic. So we do integrate research and our clinical programs very well. Our Montgomery speech language hearing clinic is one of the best, and so they offer a lot of basic hearing services, but they also do a lot of the cochlear implants and things, and they're really, really well known for that in both adults and children. So really across the lifespan. This is Finn, such a cutie, and he was one of the kids that was treated at the clinic, and we have this actually posted online, and you can look at the video and see the first time he's actually able to hear sound, which is pretty outstanding. But we also have clinical operations in performance space too, so we have people looking at athletes and Olympians and trying to understand how they can be better athletes. And we have an athletic training program and a performance nutrition program where we integrate research into that as well. I'm going to tell you about something I'm working on, and I think it's fun. It's about sewage, which not everybody does, right? So we're also kind of trying to push boundaries. So how can we improve how we're doing public health? And I always come at this from a little bit of a different angle, because I'm a STEM-trained environmental toxicologist, but with a lot of experience in applied public health. wastewater-based epidemiology? One person, 2 people, oh, 3 people, okay, this is good. Really what this is it's a way to determine whether a big community has either used something or is exposed to something, and we can determine that without talking to everybody, right? So it's a unique approach. So one of the ways that we understand, say we want to know what everybody, had for lunch today. And so the way to do that normally is to go ask every person, one at a time, what did you eat, okay? We can think about this another way. And it's a little bit indirect, but what happens if everybody in this room went and used the restroom? People would excrete certain molecules into the sewer network. And we could then take a measurement of that wastewater, and by looking for a certain biomarker or molecule, get a sense for what everybody had for lunch here, right? Get a sense. It's not really that perfect, that's just my example. But and why is that useful? It's useful because when you have a disease outbreak, COVID, we did this kind of work, right? We didn't know where to look. Where should we go and deploy public health folks to offer some sort of intervention or treatment or vaccine or whatever it is we were doing, or wear the masks, all of that. How do we know where to send public health people for interventions for the uses of fentanyl, which is a huge problem in this country? Well, we don't always know. So what we can do is use tactics like this, wastewater-based epidemiology, where we can go in sewers and try to just get a sense of what communities are being most impacted. This is not traceable back to a person. We're usually looking at 1 million people, 500,000 people in a given area at a given time. So it's not a solution, it's an extra tool that's at the forefront of public health, which helps to direct public health intervention or action that would follow behind. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, great. So that's kind of stuff we're doing that's a little bit newer, at least in the environmental space, but again, trying to put different tools together as a means to improve how we go about doing public health. And of course, our students and alumni and partners are really, really important to us. We actually hired in the Arnold School our first ever alumni relations person, so we've been connecting with alumni. They are all over the place. On our website, we have, because it's our 50th year, we've been really highlighting the amazing things that they are out there and doing. A lot of them work in agencies in the state of South Carolina, whether it's the Department of Public Health or Environmental Protection and so forth. So we have a pretty big network there. And I'm just going to stop there because I'm getting the 1 minute signal. But I would be happy to talk to people about other things we're doing, come back, talk about something specific. So thanks again for having me here.
Appreciation for you being here today. So thank you. Now, unfortunately, we don't have time for questions because there was a packed agenda today. But she said she'd stay up here and answer some questions for a little bit. Next week we have the club assembly, so Laura's going to do that for us. So I appreciate Laura's work. As far as the name that is, we put them in the blue buckets when you get 3. So just put your name buckets in the blue buckets. Name pads in the blue buckets. So now we're going to close the meeting with America the Beautiful.